Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me right at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And I wasn't going to do a show today because I have something else that's backing up right after me, but certain things just kind of got me a little bit bugged. So I thought I'll do a shorter show today. Today's show will be under an hour, which I usually do about 2 hours, a little bit shorter today. But there was something that was bugging me that I had to bring up, and it is about socialism. Not that I'm mad at it. I'm not, but the way people talk about it and things that I saw on Michael Smerconish's show. As you know, I very often, almost every weekend, I watch Michael Smerconish's CNN show. He is the fairest guy on CNN, hands down, not even close. Again, it's still CNN, but if you're going to watch someone on CNN, Smerconish is the guy to watch. He's the fairest guy on that station. And when it comes to domestic policy, probably one of the best. When it comes to foreign policy, it's probably Fareed Zakaria. He is obviously, Fareed Zakaria is far more left. However, the information he gives you is good information. So those are two shows that people ask me when I watch. I often, not every time, but I often watch Smerconish and Fareed Zakaria, two of the people I very often watch. So he talked about socialism here, and he brought up a bunch of pieces which I thought were actually pretty good. And he then brought in the guy who is the man of just the man, believe it or not, who I have met, I think is great, who is one of the most brilliant political wordsmiths of our time, Frank Luntz. He's also in this. So let me grab a little bit. I'm going to have him. I'm going to show you what he talked about. And he brings up some very valid points and issues and concerns that I think we could talk about, particularly when it comes to messaging, which is going to be the future, as you can probably see that already.
Can you sell it in Lebanon, Kansas? I'm Michael Smerconish in the Philly Burbs. There's a monument. It marks the dead center spot of the 48 contiguous United States. It's in Kansas, and thousands visit each year. They want to stand dead center in the USA.
That's great.
It's a long way from New York City, New Jersey, Virginia, and California, where on Tuesday, Democrats won the big prizes. New York City's mayoralty, plus the governorships in Virginia and New Jersey, and California voters approved a redistricting measure backed by Governor Gavin Newsom.
Now, the point he's bringing up is the center of America is not the coast. He's right. And on the coast, it does seem like this is actually working. Recently, it looks like the mayor of Seattle is also going to be a Democratic Socialist. That's not, that election isn't over yet, but either she will be the mayor or she will have come insanely close to being the mayor. Either way, a big deal. Of course, it is Seattle, but still, these are large cities across our country.
Opposing President Trump and talking about affordability, that was a common thread for the victors.
Yes, all of them. Affordability and Orange Man Bad. You know, people tease me about Orange Man Bad often. Still works. Still works. Hasn't gone away
yet. Each of those races. But beyond those factors and a party label, there was quite a difference in approach.
True.
As everybody knows now, Zohran Mamdani won in New York City as a self-described Democratic Socialist who voted for himself under the Working Families Party label.
Which, by the way, was brilliant. He didn't vote for himself on the Democratic line. He voted for himself on a secondary line. As I tell you, in New York State, we have what's called fusion voting. So you can actually have multiple people listed multiple times. So he did so. So he actually got himself listed as a Working Families Party, and he voted for himself there. So he didn't vote Democrat. Nicely done.
In Virginia, former CIA officer Abigail Spanberger adopted a more conventional, pragmatic, even moderate
CIA,
tone.
So,
Ditto for New Jersey's Mikey Sherrill, a former Navy helicopter pilot. For now and through the midterms, Democrats can be many things to many people. Since Election Day, there's been renewed use of the old expression, Big Tent. But closer to 2028, the party will need to pick which path leads to the White House, the Spanberger-Sherrill model or something more Mamdani.
And that's the question, right? Are Democrats going to be more like the CIA person, right? Like that. Or are they going to be more like Mamdani? That's a big issue. What's going to happen with the Democratic Party now? Are they still going to be in this type of, I guess, civil war? Or maybe not. I mean, where are they going to be, right? I don't know where that's going to be. So we'll see.
Looming is an important question of semantics over socialism. Political scientists describe democratic socialism as a commitment to democracy coupled with skepticism about unfettered capitalism. In practice, leaders like Mamdani and Bernie Sanders, they often advocate something closer to European social democracy.
Now, that's what I want to bring up. What you do find people like Mamdani and people like Bernie Sanders literally say capitalism is bad. They openly, I have my problems with capitalism. It's bad, blah, blah, of course. And then here's the funny part. Then you have people like Mikey Sherrill, who says things like, I'm a capitalist, and they're happy to be a capitalist. They all say that. Where are they going? I'm not sure.
Capitalist economies with robust social insurance. And viewed that way, we already have many socialist aspects to American life.
This is true. He's not wrong. There are a lot. But as you've seen me on my Gov Shack that I do Mondays at 8, I've been walking down Zohran Mamdani's policies. And they're not about workers owning the means of production. They're about centralization.
Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, they're social insurance programs run by the government.
True.
Public schools, the Postal Service, police.
And they are bankrupting us. But yes, true.
Police, fire, national defense, all publicly funded and managed services.
Yep.
That's not the same as the state owning the means of production, but still, we already live in a mixed economy.
True.
And not all socialism here emanates from the left. Consider this argument from conservative writer Jonathan Last. He says,
he's mad at Trump. He thinks Trump too much of a communist. Trump's a socialist now. See that? It's going to make, if Mike Voss is watching, he's going to be mad now. Yes, now all of a sudden, Trump's socialist. There we go.
Some of President Trump's economic moves look like state direction of markets.
Now, look what they put behind Trump. Boy, there's a bunch of conservatives looking at that, ready to scream. They put the hammer and sickle behind Trump. It's funny. Look, I'm not, I know conservative people can be mad at me when you say it. It is funny. It's funny.
From a golden share in U.S. steel to imposing a 15% government take on certain chip sales to China, to the government taking equity stakes in strategic companies. His point, there's plenty of socialist policy on the right these days, too. Or, as he wrote, so why is it so hard for people to just say out loud what is obvious? Donald Trump is a socialist who is trying to make the American economy function more like communist China.
Well, that does make a whole lot of libertarians happy, because a lot of libertarians have been saying that for a long time. So I guess some libertarians would like that. That's a new twist. Okay.
Perhaps this familiarity with socialism is what's causing a closing of the gap on the respective favorability of socialism versus capitalism. In September, Gallup found that 54% of Americans view capitalism positively versus 39% who view socialism positively.
That is a big difference. Look at that. That's a lot. Yes.
But capitalism, look at that graph, has declined in the last 15 years by 7 points.
We're almost at a point where we're 50-50 on whether people have a positive outlook on capitalism. And we're past 1/3 where they have a positive outlook on socialism. This is a problem. And to be clear, Mike says this is the youth vote. It's not just the youth vote, Mike. It isn't. It is heavily the youth vote, but he's going to walk down the road. It's also some Republicans. So it isn't just, it is that, but it isn't just that. It's worse than you think, my friend. Worse than you think. Absolutely.
While socialism has gained 3 points, already 2/3 of Democrats have a positive view of socialism.
This is scary. 2/3 of Democrats have a positive view of socialism. 2/3. Now, 14% of Republicans. I'm surprised at that one too, but still, they have a positive opinion on it. Wow. Wow. Now, 66% of Democrats aren't just the youth. That's not just the youth. That's a whole lot of people. And here's the worst part. New York State, mostly Democrats. There's Mamdani right there.
While just 14% of Republicans do. That number for independents is 38%. And only 42% of Democrats view capitalism positively. Only 31.
Think about that. Only 42% of Democrats view capitalism positively. What has happened? What has happened? That should not be true. So saying you're a capitalist if you're a Democrat, that does not go over well. Think about that. What it means is the system isn't working. The crony capitalist system that we have right now isn't working, and they don't know anything else. And who has the right way of talking? I'm going to show you in a minute. And I've been saying this for years. Some of you have been teasing me. The Democrats have better rhetoric. You can be mad at me and tell me how wrong I am or whatever you want. It's just a fact, and this is proof. The Democrats have better rhetoric. Their stuff sounds better. It just does. You're all getting puppies. There's rainbows all over the place. Everything sounds good, and the people are in trouble. Jacob says it. He's right. They're simply tired of being oppressed for as long as they've been alive, and will look for any way out. Yes, they're feeding on the public's desperation. Jacob is correct. That's exactly right. And then Republicans do not have the proper rhetoric to make that happen. They can't. It's not their way. They just yell, blah, yell, immigrants, whatever they yell. Democrats have good rhetoric. I'm not saying good policy. I'm saying good rhetoric. It's a fact.
1% of Democrats under 50 have a positive view of capitalism. Let me say that again. Only 31% of Democrats under 50.
This is your point, Mike, of the youth. It is the youth. It's just not only the youth, right? Because even people older do.
Have a positive view of capitalism. Current economic pressures, they're impacting our perception for sure. The median first-time home buyer is now age 40.
Think about that. The median is 40 years old to buy a house now. Of course they hate capitalism. Of course they do. It's not working for them. It isn't. Of course they do. If we don't find a better answer, which is what you hear me do every week on this show and others, which is what you see me do when I run for office and when I support others, if we don't find a better answer, this works. We see it already. New York City is the example. This works.
Up from the late 20s back in the 1980s. And first-timers have fallen to a record low share of home sales. And this comes amidst great job loss tied to artificial intelligence. UPS just cut jobs of 48,000 managers this year. And
think about that. They're cutting jobs and not hiring. They're cutting jobs and not hiring. Think about that. And Trump's answer has not been, let's figure things out. Trump's answer has been 50-year mortgage. So, Morgan puts, you guys have beat me to the punch. Okay, Morgan says with a 50-year mortgage, 90 years old, Adirondack, 40 years old, it can be all theirs at 90 years old. It can be all theirs at 90. At 90 years old, you get your house. Yes, that's how it's working. Yes, it is terrible.
Amazon is reported to be developing robotics that could displace as many as 600,000 workers over time.
600,000 workers may go away over time. 600,000. That's insane.
No wonder then that pessimism is on the rise in the U.S., where nearly half say the country's best times are behind us.
And this is my point I keep bringing up here. Again and again, you hear, I'm the only guy running for office, out here screaming and yelling, out here talking about many people talking about one important thing: happiness. Happy people don't want socialism. Happy people don't want authoritarianism. Happy people don't want whatever, fascism. They don't want that stuff. Happy people don't want that. Unhappy people do. Happy people want freedom. Unhappy people, what do they want? A savior, a strong man, an answer, an iron fist, someone to pay. That's what they want.
Meanwhile, the 2025 World Happiness Report again puts Nordic social democracies at the top. Finland, Denmark, Sweden, Iceland too. While
they're not wrong. They're not wrong. This is true. But here's the thing they won't tell you. The population of these countries. That's the issue. Finland, about 5 million. Denmark, about 5 million. Iceland, more people in Staten Island than Iceland. I'm not kidding, about 300,000. Sweden's the biggest one, about 10 million. About 10 million Sweden. Sweden's the big one. All of those countries together don't equal Texas. All of them together don't equal Texas. Just saying. So just to be clear, it's true, but they're all tiny. So yeah, and also very homogenous. They're tiny and homogenous. But still, I get their point. But it's a second piece I'm going to bring up. The tax rate in these areas, how they tax very differently. We would not accept that, right? We would not accept that. How they tax is they actually have higher tax rates by percentage on lower incomes. I'm not joking. And I'm going to show you something about this in a second. They actually have it. Why? Because in their mindset, well, the wealthy people aren't using the buses. The wealthy people aren't using the welfare system. The wealthy people aren't using these systems. So why should they pay for it? I'm not joking. They won't tell you that. So there's a higher tax by percentage on lower income, middle income, because they use the services. So those people complain about it. Hey, so they get better services because they're paying for it. They've actually, in their system, they've made taxation direct customers. The wealthy don't pay for the poor. The poor pay for the poor. I'm not joking. So you might go, Larry, I mean, how can I find out something like that? How could I find out something like that? Is there a place I could go to understand that? There is. You knew it was civil. Because it's always civil. It is. And on civil, they literally have something that you should be watching specifically for this. And it is called Sweden Lessons for America. Literally head on over to that. Watch. This one talks about exactly what happens and how Sweden actually works. From Free to Choose, of course. Key and Volvo, wait a minute, for the socialist. ABBA? What?
Welcome to Stockholm, Sweden. My name is Johan Norberg, and this is where I was born and raised.
See? He's a Swede.
These are friends of mine, and we're going to watch a big game between two Stockholm teams, so it should be a good one. And it might get a little crazy in there.
Yeah, let's hope a lot of crazy.
Now, he's going to talk about how Sweden actually worked, what actually happened, whether they're socialist or not, their taxes. If you ever want to talk to someone who says we should be like Sweden, watch this. This will show you exactly how Sweden actually is, what actually happens. It is on Civil. You will find things like this on Civil. Civil.com, CIVL.com, code Larry10. Larry, the coolest name on the internet, 10 for 10% off. Head on over there and watch it, and let me tell you something.
It seems like it's like a place that, like, no problems or something.
It is a socialist economy.
Volvos and
what people think about Sweden?
Socialized medicine.
There we go. And then he then breaks the myth.
So it seems our international companies are pretty well known.
Yep.
But our economic system is misunderstood.
Bingo. He actually covers the details of the economic system. If you want to learn about Sweden, how it actually is, how these countries actually work, not how Bernie Sanders says they work, he's wrong. Not how he says it. You can see it right here on Civil. Civil giving you real information, real conversations, real information without the conflict machine. We are upgrading civilization here on civil.com, CIVL.com, code Larry10 for 10% off. Check this out. You'll be smarter. See, you thought I didn't know. I knew. I always know. Anyway, so I hope you guys saw that. It's kind of, I'm going to grab a couple of this more comments here if I could. Then I'll head back to where we were. Rick says, depends on how socialism is defined. By some definitions, socialism is upon us now. True. And others say socialism has been endemic since FDR. Also true. Yes, that is true. Josh says, socialism is when the government owns the means of production. I thought that was like communism, but that's okay. Again, I bring this up often. If you talk to most modern day socialists here in America, they will tell you, if you ask them, the average socialist will tell you, no, Larry, this is about the workers owning the means of production. I understand that. Again, I've said it more than once. I'm not against it. None of Mamdani's plans say that. None of any Democratic plan, not Republicans either, but no Democratic plan says that. None. No Republican plan says that. None. The only guy who ever brings it up at all is me. Mike says Trump is neither Republican nor socialist. That's stupid or clickbait. Yeah, it's probably clickbait. It's fine. Probably is. It's probably clickbait, Mike. People need clickbait. I get it. I do clickbait too. I wish I didn't. So Rick says, conflating anything the government does as socialism means few know that socialism is the abolition of private ownership. Not really. Depends how you look at it. That's communism. But private ownership means individual ownership. It means it's collective ownership. A little bit different. So yeah. But again, while you may be right, I could be right, whatever. What all of them are saying is none of that. They're just saying centralized control. They're saying centralized control. So anyway, all right. I appreciate that. We'll keep moving here. Let's see here. Getting closer and closer to owning nothing and liking it. Yes. God, I hate that, but you are correct. You know what I want you to like? The like button. This show, click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. Please click that like button. It does matter. Also share and or repost this. If you have not, you hate the children and you hate sweets. Why would you hate sweets if they're nothing to you? Please share, repost this now. And if whatever you're watching on, whatever channel you're watching on, the page you're watching on, either follow and or subscribe to that channel or page. It does matter. If you want your comments to get to the front, you can. You come, of course, get to the front. Super chat me. Rumble me, rant, rumble me. Rumble, rant me. Rumble, rant me. Yes. Super chat me, rumble, rant me. It's all good. Please, either one, whatever makes sense for you, please take care of that if you want to. I am going to bring back in this next piece if I could, because I want to keep going a little bit more. And of course, Frank Luntz is here. And he is brilliant. He is a genius and has always good things to say.
Well, the U.S. fell to 24th.
Yep.
Those countries aren't exactly apples to apples comparisons with us, but they fuel the argument nonetheless.
Thank you. They fuel the argument. True.
Mamdani wins. Socialist policies already have a beachhead here.
Yep.
Democrats favor socialism over capitalism already. Yep. AI is upending our workforce, and those countries that are social democracies are happier than we are. It starts to sound like a plan.
Yes, it does.
Still, we're talking.
Note what he said. A plan. What do I always say? No plan, a bad plan. What do they take? The bad plan. I don't know how many times I have to say it. If we don't have a better plan, this will be the plan. This is mainstream CNN saying this, guys. This isn't like some guy on the internet, some random dude. This is people who watch Michael Smerconish vote. Let me repeat that. People who watch Michael Smerconish vote. This is mainstream CNN. If we don't have a better plan, we get this plan.
Talking about socialism here. For years, the word has been used as a political slur in the United States.
True.
Since the Cold War, the word has carried tons of baggage here. For many, It conjures the Soviet era or Fidel Castro. We Americans, we tend to see ourselves as aspirational, rugged individualists. You work hard here, you're going to make it here. And if you don't work hard, well, then that's on you. We don't like to be told what to do.
That's not who we are anymore. That's what made us great. I'm not sure that's us anymore. That sounds good. That does. That sounds great. Is it who we are? I hope.
Either, no matter what it is. Not too long ago, many took to the streets and they raised Gadsden flags. Don't tread on me, fighting for the right not to have health insurance.
I remember that.
And of course, there are taxes. Social democracies rely on broad-based higher taxation, not just on the wealthy.
See, he brings it up. He knows. See, he probably watched that, or he knows. He says they rely, these other democratic socialist countries, I wasn't making this up, they rely on broad-based higher taxation, not just on the wealthy. They don't tax the rich. You hear tax the rich, socialists like the no, they don't do that. They actually tax the middle class and the poor.
Ask somebody in Kansas or Ohio or suburban Phoenix if they want to pay Scandinavian tax rates, and the conversation gets short fast. Yep. American politics is also much more about tribe than it is about policy. If the word socialism is perceived as urban, coastal, academic, activist, then voters will see themselves as practical, rural, or traditional and reject it before even hearing the details.
Also a problem.
So the question for Democrats isn't just which policies are popular in New York, Virginia, or New Jersey. The question is which story travels.
True.
Mamdani speaks to those who feel the system is rigged and needs restructuring.
And that's correct. That's who he speaks to. I know some like, but he's crazy and he's a socialist or he's a Muslim or whatever evil thing you've decided he is. It doesn't matter. I keep saying it. It doesn't matter. What matters is people feel the system is rigged, and they're right. And the only person saying he's going to fix it in New York was Mamdani. That was it. It was Mamdani and nobody else.
Spanberger and Sherrill, they speak to those who want to repair, not replace the system
Correct.
that we have. For now, both perspectives, they live under that same tent. But in a country this large and this diverse, you don't win the White House by only winning the coasts.
True.
You got to sell it in Lebanon, Kansas. And that brings us to today's poll question at Smerconish.com. By 2050, will the United States be best described as a democratic socialist nation?
Think about that. Could you, any of you who are over 40 watching or listening, when you were a kid, could you imagine this even being in question? It'd be 99% would say no. If this was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. 99% no. 99% no. It'd be like one crazy percentage of crazy people say yes. Now, probably 50-50. Yes.
Joining me now is Dr. Frank Luntz. He's a 3-time New York Times bestselling author, one of the most sought-after political consultants in the business. His specialty is messaging, and he's worked for years testing.
And he is almost always right. Almost always. He's wrong sometimes too. He's not perfect, but he is way good at this. He is very good at this.
What sorts of words and phrases help sell an idea or a candidate? Okay, Frank, thank you for being here. This is purely an academic exercise.
Okay, hold on. D says over 40, and I see it definitely happening now. But I'm saying when you were a kid, D, when you were in elementary school, high school, junior high school, can you imagine at that point when you were that age, this question being asked, and you were like, yeah, probably. No. Now I'm with you. I could see it too. I could see it too. But back then, no, I would have never thought that back then.
Size, because you're a Ronald Reagan Republican, I get it. But if you were tasked with selling socialism to middle America, how would you do it?
Now, he asks, now to be forward, for you guys who know, Frank Luntz his personal politics is old school Republicanism. Like he would like George W. Bush to be president. Like that's who Frank Luntz is. He'd like, the first George Bush to be president, right? Ronald Reagan, right? He likes old school Republicans. That's who he is on a personal level. But he's a mercenary. So he will assist, other Republicans. He will never do Democrats ever. He will not. He's got too much money in cash. He does not like the left at all. That's who he is personally. But listen to how he will still explain. This is how brilliant this man is, how he will still explain to Michael Smerconish how the left should speak, as you will hear me do. I give the left and the right, I give both of them real advice. I'm a consultant also, nowhere near as popular or as powerful as him, obviously. I wish I was as popular and cool as him, but he is that guy.
The first thing I would do in this Veterans Day weekend is to thank our men and women in uniform. I'm actually talking to you from where.
Think about that. The first thing we do as a Democrat or as a lefty is thank the military. That's a brilliant move. Brilliant move, right? Because the assumption is you're a socialist. You hate our troops, right? He's like, no, thank them first. Brilliant move, of course.
Point right now. And to thank them for keeping us safe, for keeping us secure, and most importantly, keeping us free. So veterans out there, we appreciate you. We value you. Second is I'm going to focus on 4 different areas. I need to individualize, personalize, and humanize the sale. Yep. I need to ask rhetorical questions to bring people to my side. Third is that this has to be an issue of fairness, because in the end, that is a core American value.
I always talk about being fair. I've read his books, to be forward. I read, if he puts a book out, I read it because it's brilliant. So I've read all his books.
And fourth, it needs to be interactive. So I need to have a conversation. And let me just start with the rhetorical questions. Is it fair, and I'm acknowledging I'm reading this, is it fair that some people's children will be born billionaires without having to work a day in their life, while others will work 2 or 3 jobs just to put food on their table? And
now, hearing that right there, is it fair? that some children will be born billionaires while others will have to work, blah, blah, blah. That affects everybody. That affects everybody. Yes. Stop the Man says, fairness is a cute American value. Yes, it is. Like it or not, fairness works very well. People love hearing it. Yes, absolutely. Kim says, thank them before or after you hold them off to war. Before, obviously, Kim. Thank them, then send them off to war. Get with the program, Kim. That's how that works. Of course. Yes, you meant core. It is. It absolutely is. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. It is, because fairness, the reason why fairness is Stop the Madness is because fairness is what you think it is. That's why it is, right? So fairness, that if I work hard, I should get something. That's fair. Fairness in that because I was harmed, I should be given something. Fair. So does it matter? Fairness works because it's whatever you think it is. That's why fairness does work. Bronna says, no, when I was a kid, all Americans hated socialism. Me too. The SSR were the bad guys. Remember? I remember. I joined the Marine Corps to fight the bad guys. Yes, they called the bad guys Ivan in those days. That was the bad guys. If you were in during Vietnam, it was Charlie. They were the bad guys. If you were in during my time, so at Union times, it was Ivan. Yes, they had to call them something. Kim goes on to say, talking to someone else, the American empire will be a pile of rubble in about 5 years. What's coming is going to make the Great Depression look like a cakewalk. I hope you are wrong, but I'm not saying you are. So, yes.
Roof over their heads. Second, is it fair that some schools have all the technology, all the resources, and others can't even afford books or chalk?
See that? He's talking about this. This is how you look at Democrats versus Republicans. Generally speaking, conservatives maybe versus more people who are more progressive. They both care about freedom and fairness. They do. And you might go, no, because I'm on one. Nope, they both do. And if you look at most conservatives, they look at conservatives as freedom to be able to do something, freedom to go, freedom to do this. Most Democrats or progressives look at it as freedom from. Fairness, same thing. Jacob says it perfectly. It's subjective and relative, which is why it works. You're right, which is why it works. Is it fair that someone works hard and doesn't get ahead? No, it's not fair. Is it fair if someone's born a billionaire, someone's not? No, that's not fair. What are we going to do about it?
I do that because you can see it, you can visualize it. And third, does everyone in the sound of my voice, because I'm personalizing it, who works hard and plays by the rules, should they have a genuine shot at the American dream?
How do you say no to that? This is why Frank Luntz is amazing. And if he was a leftist, the leftists would be doing better. And
these are the questions that you ask at the beginning to bring audiences over to you. And without asking those questions, you're cutting people out. Back to you.
Okay, Bernie Sanders is online too for you, because he's finding this pretty damn convincing. Like, where's Frank Luntz been all this time?
Yep.
I noticed that what you're not giving me, you're so well known for saying to Republicans, don't speak of the estate tax, speak of the death tax.
And by the way, that was him who made the death tax. He did that. That wasn't like whatever, Reagan or whomever. He's responsible for that.
Very effective politically. Do you need to rebrand the word socialism so that many of the country don't think of Karl Marx or the old Soviet era or Fidel Castro when they first hear the word socialism?
Well, again, I'm going to give you specific language. You take a fact-based approach to everything. I'm not going to give you a ton of data, a ton of numbers, but if I give you facts, you'll believe them. Second is that it's the redefinition of freedom.
The redefinition of freedom. Guys, this is the stuff I keep telling you about. I'm not making this stuff up. I wanted to show you this to let you know that I'm not just making this up when I tell you this. This is what's actually happening. There are lots of Frank Luntzes out there. He's the number one guy, but there's lots of them doing exactly this for a lot of people.
Conservatives, it's freedom to own a gun. It's freedom to attend church. For liberals, for progressives, it's freedom from hunger or freedom from fear. It's the same word, but it's defined differently.
Yep.
Third, and only now do I get into the failures of capitalism and specifically corporate welfare, which even Republicans oppose, and not paying any taxes, which everybody opposes. And only then do I start to get at the issues of making the case that we can do better.
See, walks you all the way down, and then how we can do better. And what's that better? Mamdani and free buses. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Mrs. S. Please share this. Please, guys, share this right now. She's right. Share this if you can. It does matter. Please do so. Morgan says, this is some 1984. Changing language, deleting words. Yes. I told you years ago, I've been telling you this for months. Democrats have better rhetoric, and rhetoric matters. And many of you who are more right-leaning get mad at me. And you say, that doesn't matter. It's wrong. It's bad. It's this. It's that. Nobody cares. Mamdani's the mayor of New York City. Rhetoric matters. You can be mad at me all you want. The data is in. If you're so logical in what you think, well, then what's the logic of Mamdani being mayor? I think my logic beats your logic because mine has results. That's how that works. That's how it works. This stuff matters. That's why I'm showing it to you, because this stuff matters. D.S. Strayer's here. How are you? Don't throw away your old dictionary. My grandchildren find my 1950s dictionary interesting. Yes. Very true. Yes. So Space Jason is over on Rumble. He says 78% of Mamdani's voters are women. Yeah, makes sense. And or foreign born. Yep. 60% for Dems nationally. Yes, the Democratic Party has become the party of educated women. It's true. That's who they are. They used to be the party of working class men, but that's probably 60 years ago, give or take, about that. Something in that area where they were the party of working men. Those days are long gone. Democratic Party now is the party of educated women. That's who it is. So yeah, I agree with you. I think so. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Jacob says, I watched the DNC scrubbing data from Wikipedia in real time when I was looking up information on Kamala Harris as the border czar. Yes. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's true. All righty. Let's see here. Ganchin says, if I hadn't left New York 13 years ago, I would vote for Larry. Well, maybe tell your friends if you have any left here. If you have any left here, please do so, right? Look, I know a lot of you don't like socialism, but some of you do. But it is what it is. But either way, this is what we're talking about. It does matter. This stuff does matter. And why Liberty says, how does this not suffer from the issues of central planning? Of course it does. Let's be clear. This is rhetoric versus policy. They're two separate things, right? Mondays on my GovShack, I've been going through Mamdani's policies. I don't know if you watched it. If you go back, check it out. It's my Larry Sharpe YouTube page. It's the GovShack part 1 and part 2. Probably about 3 or 4, probably 5 different parts as I go through all of his policies. That's policies. All of his policies actually are, to your point, if you look at it, they're all centralized planning, which means by default, they're not going to work. That you're right. But what Smerconish and Luss are talking about is rhetoric. Rhetoric gets people to vote. It does. So, yeah. Anyway. All righty. Let's see here. 99 says, Larry, I'm curious about your stance on right to repair. It's a single issue that would likely get you on a... I already know, Lou. I've already been in a show. He's been on my show. Already been there. Yes. Already been there. I like him. I could probably give... I saw him at Freedom Fest earlier this year. So yeah, I'm of course right to repair. Absolutely. The idea on this is if you own it, you should be able to repair it. If you lease it, you don't have to. That would be my stance on it. If you lease it, it's fine. Yes. Liberty says, yes, I'm doing an AMA on Thursday. It's true. I'll be doing an AMA on Thursday, and I'll be traveling on Friday. So ask me any of these odd questions, please, during the AMA. I will answer all of them. Absolutely. So yes. All righty.
And so, okay, no, I'm not going to use your word. I'm not going to. Go ahead. Yeah.
He says, I'm not going to use your word. Nice.
Step out of this role, because you're pretty damn effective. And this has purely been a shits and giggles exercise. Now I want to speak to the real Frank Luntz. And I want to know, how worried are you that socialism is here or is coming? You heard my poll question. By 2050, will the United States be properly cast as a democratic socialist nation?
I'm petrified, and it's happening.
He says, I'm petrified. It's happening. Me too. Me too. Why do you think I'm doing what I'm doing? Why do you think I don't stop even though I get my ass kicked? Why do you think I don't stop even though I keep getting trashed by YouTube? I keep getting trashed by Facebook. I keep getting trashed by the algorithms. Excuse me, I had a burp there. Why do you think I keep making, why do you think I keep going? Why do you think I keep making plans? And why do you think I try to talk better and have more rhetoric, better rhetoric? Why do I talk to you about the right rhetoric? Why do I do that? Why do I ignore traditional libertarian phrases and words? Because they don't work. That's why I keep doing this. Because if we don't have a better plan, and Frank Luntz knows this too, and he's not a socialist, he's still a realist, this is where it's going.
I work with young people all across the country, and go younger, go under age 30, and they prefer socialism to capitalism already.
This is to your point, Mike. Yes, already. Yes.
The 30s, they are about dead even. It's only when you get to be older 40 that you become more supportive. And we should be calling it economic freedom, not capitalism, because capitalism is about CEO.
Which is why I don't use the word capitalism anymore. You don't hear me say that. You don't hear me say that. And some of you libertarians who are hardcore, you got to take your word back. Shut the fuck up. No, you don't. You can't. You don't decide to take it back. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Drives me crazy. It doesn't work that way. You can't just, I'm taking the word back. No, you aren't. You're just being a self-righteous ass. That's all you're doing, is being a self-righteous ass. Words have denotative and connotative meanings. Denotative meanings only matter in law. Connotative meanings is what matters in the world. How they feel. That's what matters. Nothing else does except in law. We're not in law. We're in today's world, getting people to vote. You don't get to choose what words you get to take back. That's horseshit you made up. That's virtue signaling garbage. This man is correct. You are wrong.
It's about billionaires and it's about Wall Street.
Yes.
Economic freedom is about Main Street, about the workforce, and about the opportunities for the future. And I want to give you one bit of language that whoever wins this wins the entire debate, whether it is capitalism or socialism. America should be a place for new ideas, better solutions, and good people thrive. If we want to move forward as a country, as a people, and remain number one in innovation, ingenuity, genuine opportunity, real results, we will find more ways to work together side by side so that everyone benefits and no one is left behind. Whoever controls that language wins the debate.
Thank you. That's the actual answer. Whoever wins that wins the debate. And it's language. It's language. It's what you hear me constantly. What I talk about, affordability and opportunity. That's what I talk about. Opportunity. It's what I talk about constantly. Economic freedom, medical freedom. That's what I talk about. Freedom is the answer, not liberty. Freedom. That's the answer. Frank Luntz is correct. Yes. Stop the Madness says capitalism is a word invented by socialists. Yes. They're the ones taking it back. True. That's true. Yes. Marx. He's the one who made it up. Absolutely. You are correct. Thank you. JJ, thank you for $2 over on Rumble. Thoughts on Hans Hopper saying Malaysia? Why the fuck do you care? I'm sorry I get upset. Who gives a shit what he thinks? Why do you libertarians care about it? Who cares? What Hopper thinks means nothing. I don't care if that makes you angry. It means nothing. Why do you care? I don't care. He's not running for anything. He doesn't make anything happen. This guy writes books. I don't care. It's irrelevant what he says. Irrelevant. That's my feeling. Irrelevant. I don't give a shit. Malay has success. Whether you like that or not, he has. How do I know that? Because I say so? No, because Argentinian people say so. Anyway, because Argentinian people say so. That's why Malay has success. They have kept his party in play the whole way through. They have kept his party in place. Therefore, that works. And a lot of libertarians talk about stuff like that. I don't care. It means nothing. These internal things. We talk all the time. What about this thing with this guy or that guy? Is anyone else paying any attention? No, so I don't care. I'm trying to make real change in the real world. What some guy says in some ivory tower, I don't care at all, means nothing. Don't care. But he's one of my heroes. Good, then read him. It's fine. I'm not mad at you for reading him. Read him, like him, whatever. Is he going to go do something? No, I don't care. Don't care. We need stuff done. The time for talk, those days are over. Right? Now do something. Now let's going to talk in the game. Are you going to get in the game? Come in the game. I'm in the game. I'm on the field. I'm in the game. I'm on the field. So come help me. And you're chatting about whomever or this guy or that guy. I don't care. Come help me. Go do that. So anyway, Ganjin says, these whataboutist crew need to, if they don't provide solutions. True. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. So I'm hoping I can get Franklin to talk to me again. We'll see. The question is, do you think that, they say Republicans are now socialist, Democrats are now socialist, whatever. All good. I love that. But here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Please head on over when you have a moment. Please head on over to the advocates. I ask you every time. Please do it. Now's the perfect time. Head over to the advocates by clicking the link that's actually in the description on YouTube, in the description on Rumble, in the description on Facebook. Click that specific link. And when you head over there, go to the World's Smallest Political Quiz. Right there it is, 2025 version, and see how socialist you actually are. You might be. You may not be. You see. Take the test. Here are all the answers. It's very quick. It's very simple. Personal issues, 5 questions. Economic issues, 5 questions. Bonus issues, take those 2, where you see yourself. And when you're done, calculate your results. And here's the most important piece right now. Most important piece when you calculate your results is share them. Please share them. They will ask you for your email. Please give it if you want to. I do. You get an email maybe weekly or so about cool libertarian stuff. If you don't want that, no worries. You can still get it even without it. But either way, please share. Sharing does matter. It gets people talking about it. It gets people caring, people having discussions about it. And we need to have conversations. We have to change people's minds. Because there are people who really believe, and you hear it, you saw it. Socialism's great. It's the best. Okay. We've got to have a conversation. If we don't have a better conversation, we're going to fail. This helps. Take this quiz, calculate your results, and then share it. Use that same link. It does matter. All right. Grab a couple more of these if we can. Of course, guys, as I always ask you, please click the button known as like. It does matter. Last thing, if you want to become a member, membership helps. I have the membership show. I forgot. When is the membership show again? I did have that out. The membership show it's in December. The membership show is in December. I think the 4th, is it? I forgot. I think it's December 4th, but I will check it again. Membership show's coming up soon. So if you want to be in a membership show, it means you will be here physically with me. Please click a member, become a member on YouTube, $6.99 per month. Become a member, and you do that. You got a shot at becoming a membership show. Plus, I try to grab members early, so membership helps. It keeps me rocking and rolling. Please become a member if you can. But no matter what, click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. So please, no matter what. It was December 5th. Thank you, Kim. She remembers. I appreciate that. Yes. All righty. Bronna says, wow, Larry, I think I've heard you drop the F-bomb twice tonight. Yeah, it's true. JG says, my fault. Not your fault, brother. Say what you feel. But I'm going to give you what I feel. I do get frustrated when libertarians or people who care about it get detailed on stuff like this when I'm trying to go someplace bigger and badder. Things that I think is important, right? I think it is. I am worried. I do get a little bit worried about that. So, yeah. All righty. I think I covered most of those already. How many counties did you win? I didn't win any counties. My best county was Steuben County, where I got 9% of the vote. I did have a good push in a couple of specific precincts one precinct specifically in North Country got 26% of the vote. So I did do some good votes, but I did not win any counties. I wish I could have. So D Nice says, is there anything that can be done on a state level about digital IDs? Yes, we can resist the state IDs. We can. If we do that, that will make it harder for the state, for the federal. And if we cut ties from the federal level, that means the dollar, we can ignore their dollars. If we ignore their dollars, we can avoid their strings, and the strings will be digital ID. So getting rid of the federal dollars and strings attached will allow us to avoid national digital ID. So yes, we can if we do that. Right? We can. It is not easy to do, but it can be done. So, all righty. I think I grabbed that. Yes, I will be on the NYLP podcast tonight. It's true, in about 10 minutes, so I'm getting out of here soon. That's true. We will be doing that. So, did I grab anyone else? Again, this is American culture is not compatible with socialism. Economic freedom is a better term. Yes. Question is how to curtail the corruption of capitalism. Example, corner capitalism. Yes, and yes, you are totally correct. That matters tremendously. I completely agree. This is the biggest issue of all of them. So, yes. Michael Long, how are you? It's like this. I like Sabaton's music, but it's like one of those things where if you want to get in the political game to make it real impact against authoritarianism, you don't talk COD or Sabaton. Yeah, Sabaton has, I'm pretty sure they are Swedish. Is that right? I think they're a Swedish band. Yeah, I think they're a Swedish band, and they're pretty hardcore. I know them. I like some of their music, but they have some, I would say, questionable lyrics on some of them. So yes, I think that's true. So Mike, good to hear from you. Good to see you guys. I'm going to ask you, as always, please click the button that is like. I'm also going to ask you, if you know, after this is over, to please comment. Comment if you would. Do you think the future of America is socialism? If so, how? Do you think it is? Or if not, how? Do you think the future of America is socialism? Please put that in the comments after this is done. Remember, if it's not live when you're watching it, like a day or two after, 2 videos will pop up. Please watch one of them right away. Right away, please watch one of them. You know who loves it? Mr. Rhythm. Algo Rhythm. I'm in another podcast coming up here soon. I will see you all very soon.